Welcome time now for Media Watch, for which I'm joined by Olivia Salazar-Winspear. Thanks for joining us, Olivia. You're going to start off with Tariq Ramadan back in the news. And he's backed, albeit a bit ironically, one of the presidential candidates here in France.
Yeah, just a little bit ironically. This is after he came out yesterday saying that he wasn't going to support Nicolas Sarkozy or François Hollande. He was supporting none of the candidates and he would be ideologically opposed to anyone who took the seat at the Élysée. Now he's posted on his blog here, we can see, number one, it says, vote for Nicolas Sarkozy, which comes as a huge surprise to anyone who knows Tariq Ramadan.
I wouldn't have expected that.
No, he's a huge critic of Sarkozy. Now, it's a very funny note. It's very sarcastic in its tone. He says, he describes the Sarkozy-Merkel relationship as an incredible chance for Europe and that his German friends had convinced him that the French president was the glory and ultimate benediction of France and Europe. So he says, for anyone who was thinking of voting Hollande, Le Pen, Mélenchon, they had to vote for Sarkozy to save France. Now, this coming from, like you say, a very unexpected voice. He's really stirring the pot and exploiting the media spotlight he's got on him this week after his comments earlier about Hollande and about supporting no one. There's an editorial in L'Atlantico that links this stunt today to his earlier remarks about Sarkozy when he really hit out at his position on halal meat, the Islamic veil, and finally said that France is the most racist country in the EU. So all of this, again, brings religion and especially Islam back into the debate just a week before France chooses its next president, which, you know, is not great in terms of Sarkozy's voters.
OK, and there's a debate coming up, of course, François Hollande and Nicolas Sarkozy going head-to-head on TV, and you've got some more details on that.
Yeah. Next Wednesday night is when we'll see both of the candidates go head-to-head. We've seen them interviewed quite a lot individually in the press and on the radio. Next Wednesday evening, they'll be on television answering each other's questions like we saw in 2007. Ségolène Royal and Sarkozy went to the head-to-head in the same kind of debate. Now, what's interesting today is that they've chosen the person who's going to direct this debate, the TV director or producer. He's called Jérôme Révon.
I wasn't asked, bizarrely.
Were you not?
No.
It's a shame. He's going to actually be behind the camera. Now, that's a bit more of an interesting role. Now, what's funny about this guy is that he was Sarkozy's choice. He wasn't Hollande's choice. He wanted somebody else. But this is the man who, many believe, made Sarkozy look good against Ségolène Royal in 2007. So he's going to be the one running the whole show. Now, if we go back to that 2007 debate, this woman, maybe you recognise her from the earlier clip, Arlette Chabot, she was moderating at the time, and she gave a long interview today. She was the head of France Télévisions in 2007. She gave a long interview talking about the conditions of the debate, and she's quite scathing, actually. She says it's a bit of an orchestrated scam, really. Everything's organised and decided in advance. Everything's controlled down to the last detail, what they'll talk about, the height of the chair and the table, and the journalists are just kind of extras there to moderate and provide a bit of entertainment, actually, on set. And one point she brought up, which is interesting when we look ahead to next Wednesday, is that in 2007, Sarkozy and Royal wouldn't allow the cutaway shot, which means the reaction from one candidate when the other one attacks them or responds to something. And most commentators are saying that Sarkozy will again refuse to have that this time with Hollande, that we won't have the camera on his face during the debate.
Interesting stuff. Seems like a long time ago already. Yeah, Sarko against Sego. Finally, somebody has got an absolute 100 dead cert on who's going to win the presidential election.
My money's with this woman. We've been hearing a lot in the polls, obviously, about who's going to win the election. How can you decide? This woman says that it's pointless, all this kind of analysis we're doing. It's written in the stars. She says that Nicolas Sarkozy's birth chart is just more favourable to getting elected. Now, this woman, Audrey Gaillard, she's an astrologist for quite a few popular titles, so I hear, in France. I've never read my horoscope with her. I'm quite loyal.
Me neither.
No, I'm quite loyal to Le Parisien, which is very good. But she says his birth chart, Sarkozy's birth chart, is actually better than Hollande's for communication. So I think we can hear from her.
I'm here to tell you why I'm predicting that Nicolas Sarkozy will be re-elected on May the 6th. Nicolas Sarkozy currently has Venus moving into his chart, which is excellent for seduction, and it will reach its apex on May the 6th. So that's just another trick he'll have up his sleeve to seduce and convince voters. So between the polls and the stars, I've made my choice.
Susie, she's absolutely convinced.
I'm convinced now,
Yeah,
too.
well, there you go. There's nothing. And I took the liberty of getting a second opinion on this. I did check Le Parisien, which is where I find the most reliable horoscopes. They say that Sarkozy's horoscope is looking a little bit ambiguous in that he's made a few risky choices and he could be worried in the week to come. And I'm sure he is a worried man.
That must be the first thing playing on Nicolas Sarkozy's mind. That was Olivier Salazar, Win Spear with Media Watch. Do stay with us. Next is Web News.